If you've ever said, I don't want to leave people out, or I can help people with so many things, or what if I pick the wrong thing, then I know you're talking about your niche, and today's episode is for you, especially if you're a woman over 50. Today I'm going to tell you what nobody told you about choosing a niche and why for women of our age, it is actually easier than you think. Today we're diving into something that nearly every coach is wrestling with, but again, especially women over 50. My name is Debbie Shadid, and I've helped over 10,000 coaches not only build, but grow successful, profitable coaching businesses. And let me talk about the real reason why you haven't picked a niche and what's going on. And I think it's not because you're confused, but it's because you haven't seen how simple it can be. You've been told, just follow your passion. Don't niche at all, serve everyone. But that advice is really misleading and is keeping brilliant women just like you stuck in indecision. And my friend, I hear people that have been stuck for like 2 or 3 years still, quote, working on their niche. I'm doing that with air quotes, working on their niche. So let's shift this conversation. You don't need to have a niche that boxes you in. You need to have a niche that frees you up. How could that be? Well, when you pick the right niche, your business becomes easy. When your business is easy and you understand that your niche is the right niche because you know how to talk about it well and you're confident about the results that you can get your clients, I'm telling you what, everything in your business is easier. You will market with greater ease, and when people find you, they'll be like, yeah, that's a coach for me, because there will be such a connection. I want to share with you 2 or 3 examples that will help you see how narrowing down will actually help you get the business that you want. So this first example is going to be something you have never heard of. I had a client who was worried about losing people because she would narrow down too far. So here's the background on her. She's in her 60s. She has a background as a pastor. She's in ministry. She's interested in parenting because she's been one, and life transitions. And she's a life coach. She is trained to help anyone, not only as a pastor or minister, but also as a life coach. And when we started working together, she's like, Debbie, I have coached so many people in so many different areas. I cannot just pick one. All of them feel so important. Can you relate? When I talked to her and we did niche research, we had conversations with some real people. Guess what we discovered? We discovered that we could actually build a niche around that. And that is exactly what she did. She was able to help women get reconnected with themselves through the Bible. Yes, she coached women as a life coach, but it was about using the Bible in their life. Now, who else has heard of a Bible coach? She narrowed her niche down. She said, I help Christian women over 50 rediscover themselves through the Word. That one sentence gave her freedom, and she knew what to talk about because she was a pastor and a life coach. So she combined 2 things that she loved, and she knew what offers to create. She realized that she would not be leaving anyone out, but instead, as I always say, you'll actually be including people. People will know that they are the right person for you. Instantly, she found clarity and everything else got easier, like what her coaching programs would be about, what her marketing would be about, what her website should say. All of it got easier. All right, here's the next person I want to tell you about. We had a client that wanted to help women lose weight. And y'all know that's pretty generic. I was a bariatric surgery patient. And I was like, okay, tell me more. So she told me about this journey of qualifying for bariatric surgery. And she said, you have to lose a certain amount of weight to have the bariatric surgery. So we started talking about all the people who can't even get the surgery because they have to be a certain weight to have the surgery. And of course, they're coming to get the help, and yet you have to lose the weight to have the surgery. So after I heard about this, I was like, okay, this is an incredible niche. Again, it sounds kind of silly, like, wait a minute, I have to lose the weight so I can have the surgery to lose the weight? Yes. So that turned out to be really a unique opportunity for coaching and really making a difference because this client had actually done it. 2 things here this client had done. One is that she had lost the weight to qualify for the surgery, and 2, like many, many people, she regained, I believe it was about 70 pounds of the 100 and then lost it again. So she has two different ways that she helps people, but it's all around people who are having bariatric surgery, either qualifying or that post-surgery phase. Now, can you see how specific that is? If you are somebody who's trying to qualify and you feel out of hope, then you see somebody's social media post or their workshop that they're hosting for how to qualify for bariatric surgery. All of a sudden, you're like, okay, this lady is talking to me. That's a beautiful way to have a niche. Instead of just helping people lose weight, this is the way to go. The third example I want to give you is a woman who wanted to do career coaching. And I said, okay, well, please tell me more. And she said, I'm going to help people get raises. They've been overlooked for raises or promotions. And she said, I want to help them do that. And I'm like, okay, again, that's pretty generic. Can you tell me more? After I got to know this client more and learn her story, she shared that she was from this particular country where being humble and being taught not to brag and not to boast is really part of their culture. And the people that she could help the most in the United States were people who were part of this community or this culture that have come from this country. She could help them navigate the workplace and be able to still maintain the humility that was so important to them, but also get a raise and be able to speak up for themselves and take credit for the incredible work that they were doing. So in the end, her coaching became about helping people from marginalized communities learn how to navigate, maintain their humble spirit, and get raises and promotions. Again, incredible niche. She could go on LinkedIn, and now she knew exactly who she was talking to. Somebody scrolling LinkedIn would say, oh my gosh, like I identify as somebody from that part of the world. I identify with humility being important to me. I know I'm getting overlooked. I need this help. That's what I want you to think about when you think about your niche. So let's talk about women over 50 and the advantage that you have. I touched on this in an earlier episode, but you have lived through so many things, right? You've had family transitions, you've had career pivots, personal growth, and you just have years of life experience, emotional healing. We talk about trauma now. It's a casual word that's passed around, but most of you at this point in your life have had real trauma. Not just that casual, like I had a bad day and was traumatized at work. You've had real trauma and you've gotten to the other side of it. So you've walked through things that your ideal client is currently facing. We just have to find out who the ideal client is. Your niche should not be a guess. It is rooted in your lived experience. When you pick a niche that is what you have lived and you have come out of, like the examples that I have just shared, all three of those are women that had actually experienced what their niche coaching is, you are an instant authority. All three of those women that I've described, they do not have a hard time selling their coaching, talking in their marketing, hosting workshops. They don't get stuck on that. Like, what should I say? They know what to say. You can be an instant authority when we get you in a niche that is like that. You just need a process to uncover what you love to coach about, to discover what people are actively seeking, and to match your story with real solvable problems. When we think about your niche and you start to filter out what your niche might be, what I want to ask you is, do you know other people besides you that have the same problem as you? And I'm going to guess in this whole wide world, whatever your problem is or whatever circumstance you've been through or whatever you overcome, there's millions of people. What I want to recommend is that you go do some research, go to ChatGPT and start asking them how many millions of people. If you and I were working together, I'd do the research for you and I would blow your mind because everybody that I've done it with, the numbers are phenomenal. Go find how many people have the same problem as you. And then find out what are those people searching for help with. And I'm going to bet it's the same thing that you were. They are looking for the same transformation that you just had. So is it something that they would invest their time, their energy, and their money in to fix? This is a key piece. I really want to talk to you with the greatest love. If you are a woman who is again, air quotes, a next chapter coach, and you have been somebody that's had a lot of coaching, getting to that place where you're doing fun, envisioning, and getting to your next best life, that's what I call fluffy niches. Those are the things that if you try to sell in a niche like that, what happens is there's not urgency around it. And they might say, well, you know what? I'm going to wait till after the first of the year. Yeah, I know I really want to do this. Or I just sent my kids to camp, so I don't really have it in the budget right now. I'm going to get back with you because I really want to do this. It's easy for somebody to make that not a priority. So I want you to find the original pain point that you had. Because if you've been on a journey of self-discovery, there was something originally that started it. So whatever the original thing is, chances are that one thing is the reason somebody will seek out change. So again, if you're thinking that next chapter phase, what is at the root of all of that? What have you dealt with emotionally or mentally or physically or in your careers, in your family life, in raising your children? Whatever, all of that is actually where the niche is. So think about that. You have to have other people that have the same problem, other people that are searching for help, and then people who are willing to invest their time, their energy, and their money to fix it. If you go and look for other coaches that are successful in your niche, I can tell you that proves to me that there are people who want to hire coaches in that niche. And I want to remind you, I don't know how many billion people there are in the world, but there's a lot. And so this means there's a lot of opportunity for you because people are not just hiring a coach because of what they coach around, they're hiring you. You are the brand of their business and they're hiring you because they are connected to you. So if the answer happens to be yes to all three of those questions, then your niche is a niche that you can really gain some traction with. So let me just give you a little mindset tip here. You might also feel like, I should have already figured this out and I'm taking too long to decide. And other coaches seem to be so clear. Let me just tell you, they all were confused at one point too. There's not very many people who can just land on something and stay with it. I want to help you do that. Once you go through this process of answering those three questions and getting really clear with yourself, I want you to be on to yourself, because what's going to happen is your primitive brain is going to cause confusion for you. It loves to go in there and go, but what if, and what about this, and well, what about that? And all of that nonsense comes up. It loves to get you confused. I always say it's the toddler that's throwing a fit. It loves to get you confused. So when you've done the research behind it, when you've talked to other people and you can think of examples of people and you've got evidence from other coaches, that is your evidence bank that the niche that you have is right. And then you hold on to that niche research and that evidence, and you keep reminding yourself, no, what I have is perfect. The niche is the right niche for me. And you tell that toddler, that primitive brain of yours, just quiet down, okay? Because if you can stick to a niche, you can get a business built. When you start building a business, you're going to have a website, marketing copy, your offers. Everything is based on that one thing, your niche. I don't want you changing your niche once you decide what it is. Here's some action steps for you to take today. And I want you to write down 3 different topics that you're passionate about. And then ask yourself these questions about each of those 3 topics. Number 1, are people aware that they need your help? Are they? On each one of those topics. Number 2, are they searching for solutions? These are the questions that I ask you, okay? Are they searching to solve this problem? And number 3, are you going to be inspired and excited to talk about this? And remember, I'm talking to you about building a business for a lifetime. Now, maybe you're not thinking you want to work that long, but I want you to imagine that you've built a business that you love. And so why would you not want to have clients for the next 10 years? Why would you not want to support people? You want to retire from your job right now because it's a job, it's a career, and it feels really heavy. But if you're doing something really meaningful like coaching, you don't want to leave it. So I want you to find something where you're like, I love it. So just pick your niche, just one, and then try it on an outfit, right? You can always refine it. So we can take a niche and continue to refine it down even further. But let me just say one more word about niche. Not only will that one niche inform everything you say, but it will also inform how you show up, how you, as the brand of the business, navigates in the online space. If we can go back for a moment to the particular client who helped people in marginalized communities, when we did her branding, her business branding, we did branding like we have never done for anyone else. And it would be a color palette that I would never recommend for anyone. But because we knew her niche so well, the branding made perfect sense. Her brand color was like a fire engine red, a gold, and a like hunter green. Those are not colors that I've had any other client. I've done thousands of women's branding, and nobody else has done anything like that. So that's what I want you to do, is decide on your niche so we can get your business built from there. No matter how far you narrow down, I want you to know that you'll be able to find things to talk about forever, and it really will give your business a beautiful starting point. And once you have a niche, you know what you can have next? A client. So of course you can do general life coaching, but I'll just tell you, I work with a lot of general life coaches too. They don't even know what to talk about on social media. Narrow your niche down, pick a niche, and oh my goodness, the clarity that you will have, that clarity that you've been craving, oh my goodness, you'll love it, and you will know what to talk about tomorrow. I hope you have enjoyed this second part to our 4-part series about how right now is the best time for a woman over 50, and I'll say it again, over 60 and over 70, to step in and start an incredible coaching business. Build this business. Do this foundational work right now so you can have a business for a lifetime where you have time freedom and financial freedom, and you get to really make a difference with your work. Okay, that's all for today. This is part 2 of our 4-part series, so make sure you join us for the next series. I'm going to talk about you looking like a professional. This is something that all the women over 50, they don't want to show up and just look like they threw themselves together. I'm talking about your business curb appeal, the visuals of your business, and just how you have your business set up. So if you want to be seen as a professional, as if you have had a professional involved in your business and you want to make sure you're doing it right, listen to this next episode. I'll share with you what you need to do to get a professional brand set up. All right, until next time, bye-bye.